So we're going back to the issue of war and the spiritual war, as it is brought down in Parashat Ki Tetzeh. Now we're dealing with the issue of Eshet Yefat Toar, of a pretty woman. So if we're going to go back for a second for the mitzvah of the Eshet, period, Yefat Toar, we can understand a little bit, or we can try to understand about the essence of the internal war, or the war in which we're about to face, or we're about to partake. The enemies of Am Yisrael used to bring their women out during the war to the field and so on and so forth. They used to take their daughters, their women. Why? To seduce the Jewish soldiers, just as the Moabites did and the Midianites did and so on. They sent their women to the fields, to the markets, to seduce Am Yisrael, and eventually to cause them to do idol worshipping. And by doing so, they cause a tremendous spiritual defeat of Am Yisrael. The strength of Am Yisrael is that they know who the God is and their spiritual elevation. You want to hurt the Jews, hurt them spiritually. Physically, you can't. Spiritually, unfortunately, is effective. That's why the catastrophe of American Jewry and world Jewry, and even in Israel, of intermarriage is devastating. Not only from a population point of view, but overall. And that false conversions that people do is just a lip service and hypocrisy to the problem of intermarriage. Intermarriage caused more Jews to be lost than anything else in the world. It's a silent killer. It's the cancer in Am Yisrael. Chazal said that because the beauty of these women that used to go to the war, Hayetzer haya mitgareh beotam sheyotzim lemilchama. Yetzer hara used to instigate the people. They were gorgeous, they were beautiful women, they would put them in a very seductive manner. And therefore the Torah says, okay, Eshet Yefat Toar, a pretty woman you can take. Why? Because if the Torah would not allow us to take, a person would not stand in his Yetzer. And many times, just because it's asur, it becomes a taboo. And then you want to do it because it's not allowed. But if it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, I don't have to. But then the question comes, well, there are many prohibitions in the Torah. Don't eat pig. So what the Torah says, listen, if you go and you're really, 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 really hungry, and you really, 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 really want to have a pig, okay, go have a pig as long as it's shechted. We don't have it. So why here the Torah says the Eshet Yefat Toar? Okay, if you really want it, you're going to a war. Okay, go ahead. Gesundheit, Yeh Mashiach. So one needs to remember that if in any place the Torah knew that a person would not be able to stand up for his yetzer, for his urges, and will give a heter from the Torah to do so, chas v'shalom, we would never have any kind of isurim anymore. Everything will be allowed. The person will say, "Oh man, she's a married woman. No, really, I can't stay." Okay, the Torah says, "Okay, fine, go take it." There's no end to it. But and even more so, it is known that those who went to Melchemet Reshut, on which we are talking about, were only the righteous of the righteous. So therefore, how can we think that the righteous of the righteous would desire a woman just because she's pretty? They're going to, how is it possible? There's like too many conflicts here. It just doesn't make sense. So therefore, one needs to know that there is a great spiritual issue going on here. And that the secret of the heter, the permission to go with an Eshet Ish really stems from the Chet of Adam HaRishon all the way back then. That as a result, as according to Kabbalah now, as a result of this Chet, there were few precious neshamot that fell captives into the net of the Sitra Achara, of the other side. And those sparks of holiness, they fell. According to some Chachamim, these are the neshamot of the Gerim, of the converts. That's why some of the greatest people in our history, our nation history, came from Gerim, from converts. If we mention few, it's Shmaya and Avtalion, Ruth, Moaviyah, Onkelos, Hager. They were great people who were converts. That's why this mitzvah was given. Why? So, Bekiyum ha-mitzvah, by doing this mitzvah, itlabesh ba'adam or shechina. The light of the Shekhinah will be dressed by this man, and it would reveal befanav Isha Goya, this Goya woman, who has the concept of Yefat Torah in it. That there is, in that woman, there is a holy spark in it, and therefore by going to Melchemet Reshut, and being a righteous person, and doing a mitzvah, and now it's going to be a mitzvah of how we're going to do it. You're going to take her, V'asat tzipornea, and she's going to do her nails, and now the Torah tells me how to do this. Only to a person like this who will be able to distinguish between just a regular woman who came there to seduce you to a woman who actually holds inside of her a holy spark. Therefore, by doing so, you're not attracted to her beauty, but you are going after the holy spark that is in her, and you need to bring her into this side. And the Eshet Yefat Torah, the Yefat Torah, the beautiful one, is another name for the Neshama, the holy Neshama in her. So you're not looking at her beauty on the outside, you're looking at her soul. And this is, by the way, true to all of us. We should wean ourselves from the nasty habit to look only at pretty. We know this guy, he's like 35 years old. He has many girls that he dated. And there's some girls who actually, he was lucky enough, he wanted to date. They want to marry him, they were willing to marry him. And in everyone is, this one is too old, this one is too fat, this one is too skinny, this one is too this. Ribono Shel Olam, she wants to marry you. You lucky guy, finally somebody is willing to marry you, you old bag. Now you picky? No, I'm very picky. Okay, so you stay alone. Stay alone. Stay alone. Every single one. There was a woman who actually very interested in him. He said, oh yeah, I dated her like 2 years ago. She's not that attractive. Excuse me, you looked at the mirror lately? So that holy spark is also called Yefat Torah, a beautiful one. The real beauty of a person is his soul, not his body. Your body is ugly. Your body is ugly. Your body stinks. It's just a machine. What's beautiful in you is your soul. So only a righteous person could really see the soul of the person, not the beauty of it. And by doing all these levels of mitzvah, only then he could therefore see, by having this, she's going to shave her head. And that's what we do. She shaves her head. She grows her nails, and so on and so forth. Only then we could determine if she is appropriate lavo b'kahal Hashem. Then if you want her, v'lekachta lecha li'isha, then you should take her for a wife. If not, she goes back. So therefore, the whole war against the Yetzer is to be able to do this assortment, to take those holy sparks that fell into the klipa as a result of the sins of the chataim. Our sins too. Since Adam HaRishon sinned, the only way to do so and to be able to get that divine light shining in you is only by limud Torah v'kiyum mitzvot, and doing the mitzvot. Only then you have the ability, the clarity, to be able to select and distinguish between good and bad, between life and death, to choose life, to take the bad out of it and throw it away, and to put together, each and every one of us, those holy sparks that really belong to us and that we bring up and we actually save them. So this is the Eshet Yifat Torah. This is a very, very deep concept. And that's why don't fool yourself by how good things looks on the outside. Look inside. Don't be fooled by buildings, by external. Look at the inside. You can have a beautiful building that a guy built for himself. It's a gorgeous home. And inside, there's no harmony. And yet, you can have a shed somewhere, and you walk inside and you feel this tremendous love, and that's what you should look at. And so is a person. Look at a person who shines from the inside out. That regardless of how they look, you're able to see this light that comes out that you're attracted to. These are the people you should connect yourself to. Not to the cool ones, not to the hip ones, to the spiritual ones. Those who are fighters, true spiritual warriors, who know how to fight, and to know how to win a war or to win a battle, you have to know how to fight. And the Academy for Spiritual Warriors is here. You can't do this alone. You can't sit in your cave because you're not at that level. And if you think you're at that level, you're an arrogant and you're a fool. And you're putting your life and your family's life in danger. The place to learn it is in the Bet Midrash. This is the academy. And the way to hear it and to learn it is from somebody who's going to tell you what you do right and what you do wrong. You need an instructor. It doesn't make a difference how good of a soldier you are. You could be an excellent Marine. But if you decide to go to become a Navy SEAL or a Delta or whatever it is, now you're going to have somebody who's going to train you. You can't say, well, I'm a Marine. I know. Okay, you know how to hold the gun, but let me teach you how to hold the gun now like a Navy SEAL. Let me teach you now how to hold the gun like a Delta, because we hold guns different here. We shoot, and this is true, we shoot different. We shoot 400 bullets a day until you're going to have a blister on your hand. So if I'm going to look at your hand, I'm going to see a blister here. I know which unit you're from. We hold different things here. We do different things here. But I know I've been a soldier for 3 years. That's very nice. You're going back. You're starting again. That's not a problem. To do at home, all you do is you sit in front of your computer or in front of your TV and you watch movies and you think you know how to do so. This is learning at home. You're not at that level. Even when you are already a soldier for many, many years, from time to time you need to come and pay your dues and go to reserve and you need to go to training. Otherwise you just go out of shape. Especially if you never reach that. Nevertheless, if you end up as the boot camp of your training, that's not called soldiering. So the place to do it is here. You want to have X-ray vision, so-called, by being able to see the spark of a person. You need to come and to learn how to interpret that. And that, in a way, corresponds to what we had learned yesterday. Of knowing your place. You know you're in boot camp. And you know who's your staff sergeant. and who is your sergeant, and who is this, and what's your job. And if you're coming to boot camp thinking that you are as equal to your sergeant, you're wrong. You're not. He's your sergeant, and you're just a, boot camper. And that's it. And if you fail, you're going to suffer. You fail to understand that, you're going to suffer. Now, it goes a little further, and it comes deeper. We're talking about the soul now. When you learn the Zohar on this week's parasha, on last week's parasha, and it says there straight out, Eshet Yefat Toar is the soul. And here everything comes together, falls together beautifully. The Zohar says that every Shekola mitzvah, this mitzvah, every part of this mitzvah talks about saving your soul from the world of klipot. This is how we save our soul. And he says, V'ra'ita b'shivya eshet yefat toar. If you saw in its captivity, V'ra'ita b'shivya, in other words, that soul, that person is captured. Who? Eshet yefat toar. That is the soul that is enslaved and it's in captivity in the materialistic world. So when I give you tochecha that you don't like to hear, you are captives. We're coming here to try to save you. Even though you heard it a million times. If you heard it a million times, it means you haven't executed it once. Because if you executed it once, there's no need to tell you this over and over again. You already did this, but you haven't. It says, "V'chashakta ba'u lekachta lecha leisha." V'chashakta ba'u, you desired it, and then you should take it for you as a wife. What does it mean? Zoit ha'orerut shel ha'adam. This is your awakening. You have this awakening, spiritual awakening in you that you want to spiritually do the right thing. And then what happens? And you should bring it into your house. Says the Zohar, Hainu abayit shegurusha misham, the house in which he was expelled from. Because on that it says, V'shivcha ki tiresh ba'ala gvirta, and a maiden would inherit the lady. What does it mean? She'ashivcha, the maid, is the Yetzer Hara. Nichneset el beita, entering the house, and the lady, the woman, the maid lady of the house, is the soul which was deserted out of there. Therefore, it's like a husband who brought his mistress into the house and threw his loyal wife out. So now it's time to go and bring the lady back into the house and throw the mistress out. And then what happens? V'gilcha et rosha, v'asata et tzipornea, and she would shave her head, the Schneider Connor style, and she's going to do her nails, grow her nails. What does it mean? You think it's to make her ugly? Maybe, but not according to the Zohar. According to the Zohar, she needs to purify herself. Now you might understand why the Hasidim shave their head, some of them. It's for purification. To pure herself from the filth in which the snake, which corresponds with the sin, had put upon that pure soul. So it's a purification method. And then after is the purification, and so on and so forth, and you had only after it purifies. The Mahan Rabbeinu Chaim Vital says the following: Ve'achar kach, and after that, uvachta et avia, and she cried for her father. Who is the father? Avinu Malkeinu. Who the father is? A Kadosh Baruch Hu. Ve'etima, who is her mother? Kehimai Knesset Israel. That body that we call Israel. As it says, the pasuk says, Ki acharei shuvi nichamti. After I would return, I will have nechama. I will have comfort. Ve'yashva bebeitecha, and she would sit in the house, in your house. She should sit in your soul and would never leave you again. Ve'tifkei al avonoteh, and she would cry on her sins. How long? Yerach yamim. Yerach Yamim is the month of Elul. That is the time for tshuva. So yes, we're dealing with last week's parasha, 2 weeks ago parasha. No, last week's parasha. But yet it's true through the whole entire year. And this is just the beginning. Bezat Hashem, maybe tomorrow or tonight, whatever it is, we're going to talk about going to the war. And then we'll try to wrap this up so we have something to work on. So Rabotai, we have a lot to work on. The main thing we have to work on is on our attitude. Humble yourself. Want to learn. Have the ability to strive to become better, to become good. Don't satisfy at the level that you are, because in any other thing in the world you're not satisfied with what you have. So why are you satisfied at the spiritual level that you're at? Let's reverse that. Let's be content with every materialistic asset that we have, and let's have this strive to have more and to become better spiritually. Change the way you look at things. Change your outlook. And cry. Cry for the year that you had not strived to come closer to God. Cry for all this time in which you put yourself as a wedge between you and yourself, between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You became your own obstacle. When you became arrogant and said, this is not good, this is not good enough, I'm too good for this. When you fail to acknowledge this is exactly where you need to work on. The Ari says that whatever is most difficult for you to do, it's exactly the tikkun in which you have to work on. So if it's difficult for you to overcome yourself because you have a great sense of entitlement, it's exactly what you came here to work. And whatever is very easier for you to do, that you already accomplished. So if you don't like to hear things from people, that's exactly what you came here for. If it's very difficult for you to think that it's beyond you, that's exactly what you came here to fix. That's what you need to work on. We don't know how long we have. So whatever we have, let's try to do it right. Let's try to fix our ways. Time is ticking and would not stop. It is a sand watch clock that we watch and you see the sand going down, 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 down. Eventually, it's going to end. You don't know how much sand you have in the upper part. It's going to end. As the year ended, your life would end. Hopefully later than sooner. But when, you don't know. So you need to work. And as you get older, you realize that the years are getting shorter. Yes, it's the same lousy 365. But for whatever reason, a year now is as long as a month. Sometimes when you were in school, if you remember, you were in 8th grade, a month was like, until you pass 1 month, Ribono shel olam, it was forever. Today you turn your hair and a year is gone. Boom. Now, a year is as long as my 8th grade break. Rabotai, there's no time and there's very little koach. We need all the help we can. We cannot do this alone. But no, you can wait for others to do the work for you. It's your work, it's your job. But you have friends, you have a place, and you have the Torah. So get to work, and hopefully we'll see results. Amen.